Water levels are rising as this rain moves through the state. Officials in Scott County are monitoring flooding conditions on roads and near homes before deciding whether shelters will be needed to help those in need. WKYT's Mark Barber is in Georgetown with an update on the situation from emergency management. He continues our top story weather coverage at noon. Mark.
Officials with the Emergency Operations Center say depending on how much rain comes down, there could be flooding across the county. But they say they are most concerned about these 6 areas marked with the red tabs because they say they will most likely flood today. As the rain comes down, the threat of flooding goes up. Emergency Management Agency Major Michael Hannigan says the ground is already saturated, so the rain could lead to flooding very quickly. At Payne Avenue and North Broadway, the Elkhorn Creek is already starting to swell up onto its banks. Since the rain has been coming down steadily since 7:30 this morning, Hannigan says they have been taking callers who have spotted high water, and they have been monitoring their creek gauges as well as the radar. 1 inch to 3 inches of rain are expected to fall in Scott County. At 1 inch, Hannigan says some roads and low-lying areas will flood. He says if 3 inches fall, there could be major flooding on some roads and some houses could flood. He tells us it would be a long-term problem, and he's hoping the county can avoid it.
Definitely fingers crossed. After 2 major snowstorms and a flood, there's now possibility of a 4th disaster declaration. It's starting to pile up.
Hannigan says he's hoping they dodge a bullet this time, but he says if 3 inches of rain does come down, they will switch to response mode. He tells me that they could put up temporary shelters for people if they are no longer able to stay in their homes. In Scott County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And we're told they'll start doing checks to make sure roads are still passable if heavy rain continues to fall.